everybody. Not John here from Papa Bear Studios, and I have, for the first time, a virtual guest in the studio. His name is Paul Decoster. Paul's an amazing singer-songwriter. I had the pleasure of checking out some of his tunes before he came on, and introduced to me by a friend of mine in Scotland. So say hello to everybody, Paul.
Hello, how you doing, everybody? Good to talk to you.
Michael Ellenbogen, a good friend of mine who happens to be from New York City, living in Scotland, introduced us and said, you got to check this guy's music out and do one of your interviews. And I said, I'm happy to. I've just never done a cyber interview before, so this is kind of cool for me. Have you done interviews like this before? Or?
I actually have. As a matter of fact, I did one on Thursday. I was interviewing with a fellow named Plastic EP who's based in Melbourne, Australia. Are you familiar with him?
I am. He's a buddy, and he's a fun dude.
He's a real trip. He really is. It's a shame that we are unable to kind of we can actually fly in airplanes nowadays, provided we actually wear a mask, but it's probably ill-advised at this moment. That being, and we don't know what the quarantine policy is in Australia at the moment, but I can just tell you that, in normal circumstances, I would be very inclined to go pay a visit to the man, just for the excuse to go see Australia.
Seriously, the kangaroos in the backyard, right?
Well, I think so.
You're in Brooklyn, right? In New York City?
That's correct. I'm in Brooklyn. I've been here since 1995. I first moved in 1995. I've lived pretty much all around the same neighborhood. When I started moving here, I lived on Glenwood and East 17th Street, which, if you know Brooklyn at all, is over in the Flatbush section.
Yep.
Eventually got named Ditmas Park for real estate purposes and things of that nature. And I have basically lived and worked in this area for many, many years. And recently, in the last 2 years, I moved over to Avenue I, and I have this little studio here right now where I do a lot of my music, I do a lot of my writing, and I'm going to be doing some live concerts. In fact, as a matter of fact, since March, I've done at least about 4 or 5 live concerts on Facebook and Instagram.
Well, that's great. I did a couple myself just to keep my chops up and stay in touch with my local audience, at least.
Well, in the process, I think that as many songwriters can attest to, it's been a rather creative burst, and many of the songs I've written are quarantine related.
Yeah.
One of the songs, I'm not going to do it today, but it involves being in the back of an ambulance.
Okay.
The other one involves talking to a nurse and saying how blessed the person is to be in the care of such a nurse. And another one is talking about the precious resource water, which we're asked to wash our hands all the time.
Right.
And usually that's a good protocol to take during normal times, but especially now, kind of get this virus off your hands. Can you imagine if our water supply was low?
No, seriously.
We were unable to do that.
So where are you from originally? I could swear I hear some kind of an accent in there.
Everybody detects an accent with me. I just simply tell them I talk funny. Because I was born in New York. I was born in New York. I don't have a New York accent that everybody.
No, you don't. No, I know.
Not at all.
I wore this hat for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Are you seriously a Yankee fan? Or are you just doing that just to make me happy?
Neither, actually. I'm a fan more of the rivalry between Boston and New York. I don't follow sports at all, to be honest with you.
I think following sports is pretty much a moot point.
Now it is, sure. The rivalry between Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees, I've always been fascinated with that.
It's legendary. It's legendary. It still goes on to this day. In fact, it's especially good when the teams are actually good.
Right, seriously. And I actually am one of the only people you'll ever meet that owns both hats of Boston and New York, and bought them at a game at each respective stadium. So.
That's good, because you don't really have any stakes.
None at all. So you are a singer-songwriter, like we had said. And obviously that means you write original music. What kind of songs can we expect to hear out of Paul Decoster?
Songs you hear out of me are usually ones which are very progressive in tone. That is to say, just in terms of like Pink Floyd or Rush. I write a lot of, I do write love songs. I write songs which are topical. I write songs which involve one's stake in society. I write songs about people who are going through rather difficult times and need a little bit of a spiritual uplift. There's a few songs which I've got along those lines.
Who are your influences?
I like Lionel Richie. And it's not going to sound like Lionel Richie, but I do like him. I like the Spinners, kind of like going back to the 70s R&B styles. I like Rush and Pink Floyd. And a big influence on my lyric writing was XTC. They still
okay.
And
Andy Partridge.
And another big influence is Nick Lowe, who I think is pretty much a seminal figure in British pop at least, and also over here. Those are the immediate influences I can list. There are surely others, but Rush, XTC, early Spinners, Lionel Richie, that sort of thing.
That's an interesting combination. I wouldn't have expected to hear Rush and Lionel Richie from the same listed in the same.
To be perfectly honest with you, when I was listening to radio as a kid, I listened to a station which featured both. It was mostly top 40, but it also featured Rush. You heard them every once in a blue moon, but you also heard them with Donna Summer. So, I mean, they were pretty much like in the same mix.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I couldn't listen to one genre of music without just getting bored and wanting to change the channel. So if I got bored with the rock, I turned over to the R&B station, and I'd feel a sigh of relief when I heard Kool and the Gang.
Do you perform locally in clubs, taverns? Well, not now, obviously, but prior to this?
Absolutely. I used to perform at a place called the Branded Saloon. I would also perform regularly at an art gallery, which had openings called the Greenpoint Gallery up in Greenpoint. We featured there pretty regularly. I've also played at places like Matchless over in Greenpoint. I played at Caffeine Underground. I played at Shrine World Cafe up in Harlem. Played at Savannah's in the same location. I played at the Way Station a couple of times. I'm looking to play in places like Fishtown in Philadelphia. I really would like to do that. I mean, I miss touring. I do like touring a lot.
Touring?
Just really started to do little mini tours in different parts of the country.
Do you have a day job, I assume?
The day job would be ESL teaching. What I'd like to do is to set up my own little songwriting publishing company at the moment, just so I could actually publish some more tunes. Because as I see that I've got more time here and I'm going to be doing some studio work, I want to make sure I get that on some solid footing.
So how many languages do you speak?
Well, I speak some Spanish. I can speak some French still.
I've always assumed you'd have to speak the language of the person.
It helps if you do. You don't necessarily have to, but I think it really helps if you do, especially for beginners.
So I want to hear some of this result of the blending of the likes of Lionel Richie and Rush.
Well, let's see. What can I do? I'll play this one song from my first album called True Believer. And this is from the album Calling All Lovers. And just to let you know, everybody, this is available on Spotify as well as Apple iTunes.
Very cool.
So the music that you hear in your head is coming out of you like a symphony. You've always had something to say, but now you say it with no anxiety. People say what's come over you, the ones who used to look at you and roll their eyes. But you can see from their effortless smiles, your spirit's got more power than you realize. You're beginning to sound like a true believer. You're beginning to sound like a true believer, and you wanna know what? You're beautiful. So your movie's got imagination. It's finally got to deal with the real. Catch your heart in the part of the hero, and don't you worry if you can't get the girl. You've always had something to say, don't you carry it on, people to agree with you. That rejection caused your breakdown, but open up the space where I can shine on through. You're beginning to sound like a true believer. You're beginning to sound like a true believer, and you wanna know what? You're beautiful. Doesn't it feel good to have a home? You can So the love you thought would never return comes back to you in better form. 'Cause now you maintain a sanctuary where love has space to keep so warm. Love and desire and rhythm combine in exactly the way you always wanted them to. Singing praises to God is like sex, except the energy is forever new. You're beginning to sound like a true believer. You're beginning to sound like a true believer. You're beginning to sound like a true believer. Ooh, yeah. You're beginning to sound like a true believer. I'm beginning to sound like a true believer, and you wanna know what? Yeah, you wanna know what? Yeah, you wanna know what? You're beautiful. Yeah, you're beautiful. Wow, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I think I hear like Greg Lake.
It's interesting you say that. I used to think that I sounded exactly like him when I sang.
That's what kind of got me recording Monkeys songs in my studio, because people told me I sound like them too. Where can people get your albums?
All of my albums, which are the following: Calling All Lovers, Walking in the Sun, which is an EP of 5 songs, and Universe, which is my latest, which is about 10 songs. You can get all those on Spotify under the name Decoster, which is all caps, Decoster. Let me see if I can find a spare CD. So you see this over here. So this is Decoster. This is who I am. This is Walking in the Sun. You can get all of my recordings there on Spotify. You can also get them on Apple iTunes. Online, you can find me in the following places. You can find me on DecosterMusic.com. You can also find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel has a couple of premieres.
So everybody, make sure you check out Decoster, Decoster, on YouTube, Spotify. But Paul's got to take us out with another tune. Thanks for stopping by Pop Bear Studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is called Can't Stop Thinking About. Who are you? Come join the party. Is that what I told you? You are beautiful. What's your name? Where did you get that? Something about you gets a conversation going. Whenever you smile, you look like you don't know. Of chronic that you want. Ooh, is that person I can't stop thinking about? Ooh, is that person I can't stop thinking about? Ooh, is that person I can't stop thinking about? Who are you? Why did you come here? What do you want? State your business now. Tell me who let you in here. I wanna kick that person's ass right now. Well, I can knock you out, but you're always still alarming. Whenever you smile, it really ain't that charming. Just be don't realize that we're coming. Ooh, thinking about. Ooh, it's that person I can't stop thinking about. You're the person I want in my life one day. You're the person who just will go away. Maybe I need you, but with you seems strong to me to you. Someone I want to beat up, make love to. Is that person I can't stop thinking about? Ooh, is that person whose ass I want to throw out? Ooh, is that person who just makes me want to shout? Ooh, is that person I just cannot live without? Can I live without?